In the span of just a couple of months, IonQ managed to gain nearly 200% from its current lows. Well, 2 more months pass by and we are looking to have nearly all of it gone. But is this really the opportunity we have all been waiting for? Or is this just the beginning of the decline and we are looking for a complete reset within a much larger correction to take place here? Well, by the end of this video, you will know exactly the levels of support that we expected to hold to still be able to deliver with high confidence a reversal to much higher prices, as well as the likely path and the levels of resistance that need to be broken for this to have some active proof instead of just holding the levels of support as a potential indication. Welcome to the trade setup. So for this stock, it's not really a difficult pattern. We have identified an initial 5-way move to the upside to have taken place here. We are looking at a 3-wave correction and we expect the correction within the white wave 2 to hold the levels of support extending down to $32.40. And as long as these levels of support are still holding, we can expect with high probabilities to see a reversal within a wave 3 to a potentially quite extended level. Unfortunately, the decline we see from the local highs within this wave 1 top are much stronger than we would have really liked them to be, and they can easily suggest much lower prices to be even more achievable really than holding this internal white area of support. And this is not a prediction, it's just what the structure is suggesting, what the structure is allowing. As within this decline, I am able to track a 3-wave pattern down so far, but the 3rd wave down doesn't seem complete, doesn't seem to be particularly close to being complete, and it's not holding nearly as well as some of the structures we have found on other stocks, other quantum stocks, pure quantum plays, like the Wave Quantum, QBTS, we have been covering it. There we actually have a much better base for a bottom at this point in time. It doesn't mean that it will hold, but it has managed to break internal levels of resistance that would have allowed extensions to lower prices much more directly. Whereas here, in the case of IonQ, we are looking at a much more aggressive decline, a decline that seems to allow even a very internal structure within this wave C to see lower prices. So what am I tracking here? Well, we have a couple of options, but really we are looking at a very extended wave C. And even in the scenario where I do not consider wave B to have topped here, to maybe give it a bit more of a chance, it is still likely to extend lower, as within a wave C, as we have here in this decline, this white wave C, we are looking to build a 5-wave pattern. A wave C is always a 5-wave pattern, and there are really not many options of how else we could be tracking this decline than this being a wave C. Which means that we are likely looking for lower prices, we are likely looking for the decline to not be complete. Now, does that guarantee a failure of the white interpretation where we are looking for the wave 3 to form? Not necessarily. So the probabilities would certainly be quite heavily damaged by getting a sustained break below the 78.6% retracement at $32.40. But for a complete invalidation, I need to see a break below the beginning of this entire wave 1 to the upside. To be honest, I really do believe that if we break the 78.6% retracement, the probabilities would have suffered greatly. And I'm not talking about a brief break that could maybe even take it into the structural support area we have here right around $30.50. This is actually a pretty major level in my opinion. But if it doesn't manage to get a rather swift recovery from that region, it is probably most likely going to be the case that we will not see a successful reversal, that we will not see the wave 3 unfold, and instead build a larger correction, a larger A, B, C pattern, a complete reset where it would be required to form once again an initial 5-wave move to the upside, to once again look for a wave 2 correction before looking for the strong move within the large rally in the large wave 3. Long term, we can still look for a quite promising opportunity. But unless it manages to find support within the currently developing white wave 2, the likelihood is that we will be looking at a correction to extend much longer. We will be looking for a complete reset within the larger correction, building a larger 5-wave pattern. The ideal target for such a large extension would be the 100% of this being instead a supposed wave A, where we would be looking towards $22 to be quite easily achieved actually. Now, with all of that said, we do not know that it will fail as of now, and if we can manage to still see the levels of resistance broken, a rally is still possible, an opportunity is still to be had here. What I won't do, however, is try to catch the falling knife. I am aware that within this decline, I can see much further extensions with very little retracements, which is why I am waiting for some signs of a bottom before looking for the opportunity to be had. I am looking for some confirmation before assigning some hope in the case of this stock. Now, with all of that said, let's move into the internal structure. And here I am tracking a wave C, where, as I was saying, the wave C is expected to have a 5-wave pattern. Well, unfortunately, this could be a quite extended wave C, possibly a wave 3 instead, where this would have been a 1, 2, 1, 2, then this as a wave 3 could technically have a bottom in, but just as well, it could extend even further, and I will show you in a moment why. Within this structure, I could track from this high to have had a wave 1 down here, a wave 2 up here, this could be the wave 3 down, a wave 4 up, and a wave 5, only to complete an internal wave 3. Well, what would I require of it to be able to track this and consider it likely that it is a decent count, a count that is more likely than not? Well, I would be looking for the ideal target for the wave 3 to have been achieved, the 138.2% extension of the wave 1, and if we choose to draw this in this manner, in this count, we can notice that this bottom has pushed perfectly into the 138.2% extension of the wave 1. That is the ideal target for the wave 3. And to be clear, this extension, this massive decline that only had the momentum accelerating, was not necessary. I would have been able to look for a bottom much earlier in the case of this decline. I could have found this to be something like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, where the wave C could have completed much earlier. And this extension is proof that something more bearish than having a white wave 2 correction in place is right around the corner. I would be looking for the levels of resistance for a potential wave 4, starting from the 23.6% retracement, so about $35.90, exactly the levels this push higher has managed to get to, up to the $39 level, the 50% retracement. And unless it can manage to see a sustained break above this level, the likelihood is that we will see continuation in this decline, that we will see this orange wave 5 materialize. And here's what could be considered the sad part for the white interpretation, where we are looking for a wave 2 correction to form a bottom. Even if it manages to break these levels of resistance, there would be further levels to consider, as even if this were to be a wave 3 already complete, I would still be able to look for a couple of additional 4-5 patterns before having this as a larger wave C complete. And I have the wave B top marked here, but this is not necessary. I could just as well consider it to have been the top here, in which case this as a decline, this as a wave C, would be able to fit 1, 2, maybe even 3 additional lows before having the structure full. Then the implication, if we see those 2, maybe even 3 additional lows, is that we may be looking for this to form a wave 3 instead of a wave C, which means that on an even larger scale, on an even larger time frame, this would be a wave 1 down, this would have been a wave 2 up, wave 3 down, wave 4 up, and wave 5, quite easily taking us into that $22 region, the target for a larger wave C decline. So let's have a recap here. This stock has had the opportunity to form a bottom within the white support zone to provide high probabilities of a reversal within a white wave 3. Technically, it can still work out, but without evidence, without breaking internal levels of resistance. We have to favor continuation to even lower prices. Without a confirmation as far as this structure goes, we can easily expect the decline to continue. Is it possible to still find a bottom for the white wave too? Actually yes, and I have shared a similar pattern on the D-Wave Quantum chart, and I can consider that instead of having this as the wave A bottom, the wave A to have bottomed here, quite possibly within a leading diagonal, this to have been a very tiny wave B top, and in that case, I would still expect lower prices in the near term. This orange count would remain perfectly valid looking for a 5-wave pattern down. But this would be the last necessary low before the wave C would be complete, before the white wave 2 could be complete. In that case, the ideal target for the wave C would be the 100% extension of this wave A, spanning to about $36. This would have already been achieved. But it's not a deal breaker, and I still believe it capable in that case to see a reversal, even if it reaches, let's say, the 123.6% extension, $32.80. Maybe the 138.2% extension, $30.90 instead. That remains a possibility, but without getting a sustained break above the relevant levels of resistance. And as I was saying, even if it manages to break this orange area of resistance, the risk is not fully gone. The likelihood that it will continue lower will be still quite high, as this, being a wave A, is not a particularly high probability scenario. It's not the most likely path to have this as a wave B. It would have been a bit short. Not impossible, but a bit unlikely if you get me. And in the bearish path, I would still have to see larger levels of resistance to be broken. I would have to see the larger wave 4 area of resistance get broken before having a much stronger indication that a bottom would indeed be in. This is about what we can extract from the currently available data. You have the levels of support that we are tracking, you have the levels of resistance that it needs to break in the very near term here, up to the 50% retracement within this orange wave 4, and you have the path that could either allow a bottom to be in this ABC structure, or see even further extensions in this larger yellow structure, this larger yellow impulse. So this is about it from me. If you want even more, you can check out the Patreon. But for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe. And if you enjoyed the content and want to support it directly, check out the channel membership. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.